Hello, this is Brendan Wilmington of the Left Turn Network, and welcome back to another Lumen Stock Car Invitational Series race. If this is season number 4, race number 17 at Watkins Glen International. This is our third road course race of the season, and this is the fourth year where we've been to Watkins Glen. We've gone here every single season, but this race is being run a little bit earlier in the year than we're used to because we had a little bit of a shakeup in the order we run the road courses this year, and Watkins Glen's been moved up here. At least it's a better time to run this race than May, like they're doing in real life. There's still a lot of things I have, a lot of questions I have about the NASCAR schedule next year, but that's NASCAR. This is LCI. Joined alongside me for the first points-paying race this season, but the second race in general this year. It's Rasha Mahendra. And Rasha, we had a very interesting qualifying session. A lot of big names went home. Kevin DuPont will not be racing today. Neither will JB Chanot or Akiya Tajima. A lot of the big teams missed the setup entirely. It's not just those drivers. There's a lot of our championship contenders starting in the back. What do you think what do you think those guys are going to end up doing today?
Yeah, we had a huge bombshell in qualifying, I think. I mean, considering that Kevin Dupont is our defending winner and defending champion, well, defending winner at this track and the defending champion, that was certainly a big moment when we realized that he had missed the race. But yeah, it seems that a lot of teams simply completely missed on the setup, at least in terms of qualifying. I mean, especially see that the Columbia cars right now, none of them were any good in qualifying. Two of them barely struggled to make it, and well, the other two cars, Tajima and Chanot, failed to qualify. So I wonder if some of these bigger teams were a little bit overconfident and maybe tried to put on a little bit of a long run setup, focused in qualifying. And when that didn't work, they had to scramble to put on a setup that was a bit more friendly for the short run. We saw this with a few teams. I think the 41 of Karina Willis Calloway just barely squeaked in after making some crucial changes to her car setup. So for the teams that did make it on the points provisionals, we might see them move up over the course of the race once we get some pit cycles coming through. But yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see because maybe they have set up their cars to be better on the long run, and that might pay off.
And on the other hand, we have a lot of interesting drivers up in the front here today. A lot of drivers that you don't normally see up at the front, a mix of that and also our road course ringers. And ever since we've had the driver ratings and the track boosts implemented this year, a lot of the small teams have elected to go for road course ringers in these road course races, especially the ones that already had a cycle of different drivers through, and all of them made the show pretty much. So do you think these drivers driving for the smaller teams are going to be able to stay up front throughout the race?
I mean, in the case of the teams with road course ringers, I wouldn't be too surprised if they're able to at least lock down a top 10, top 15 finish. Kind of, they might fall off a little bit later on, but these road course ringers, they do know what they're doing at these tracks, and I'm hoping that they put on some pretty good racing on alongside the rest of the field. But I would definitely expect that midfield to be very competitive because we have those teams starting at the back who we expect to move up, while we have a few surprises up in qualifying that may move down over the long run. So it'll be really interesting come the end of the race.
Let's go over your starting grid. Probably one of the only non-surprising drivers at the front is our pole sitter. It's the 8 car of Darren Walker, who will be starting on pole here at Watkins Glen. Alongside him is the 57 of Shauna Everett, who's had a major focus in the last couple weeks because she has gotten very close to winning each of the last 2 races at Kentucky and at Denver. Kentucky, she was leading late in the race, and then a phantom debris caution came out, and she didn't have a very good restart after that, basically took her out of the running. And then at Denver, she was very close to beating Tim Barry on pace, but just wasn't able to get by him in time. And, starting on the front row on a road course, that's going to give her another opportunity to try and get that win. The first points paying win for Blake Everett Motorsports, if she'll be able to pull it off. Row number 2, we've got the 50 of Jacob Lopez, who has won on a road course earlier this season. Granted, it was a shortened race, but he still won regardless. And alongside him is the 15 of Montana Sherman, making the third of his 7 planned starts in his farewell tour this year. He starts third today, and he's not necessarily a road course ringer, so this is a very impressive run for the 15 car. It'll be interesting to see if Sherman's going to be able to walk away with a good finish here today. Row number 3, we've got the 58 of Joanna Clark, finished top 5 last week, keeping that momentum going as she gets a row 3 start, alongside the 45 of James Harvin. Row number 4, we've got Holly Martin in the 6 car, the only McPickey car with even a bit of pace in qualifying. And alongside her is the 40 of Adrian Wheeler. And one of the big teams that absolutely did get the setup right here today is Motor Racing Ventures. As you can see, the 4th MRV car, the 55 of Michael Harvin, starting inside the top 10 alongside his other teammates. So look for them to have a good race here today. Starting in the same row as Michael Harvin is the 2 car of Rhea Wickham. And earlier today, we actually ran the Amateur Series race, and Rhea Wickham competed in that, completed all 23 laps of that. And now she's looking to pull double duty here and complete all 32 laps of the race today. Then we got the 88 of Billy Smith and the 3 car of George Bryan. The Patriot Racing Incorporated teammates had a good qualifying run. Charlie McCarron in the 85 alongside the 92 car of Kate Summers. Then it's the 36 of Johnny Everhart, one of our road course ringers, alongside the 65 of Tamarin Bellinger. The 42 of Kaleo Connie and the 33 of Wesley Shelton making his second start. He impressed in this 33 car at COTA, and he's once again given it a pretty good qualifying run. And you know that team does not have the greatest equipment, but it seems to overachieve, so we'll see what Shelton can do today. Cooper Spur, one of our better road course racers, finished third at Mosport alongside Peter Jensen, another one of our COTA returning drivers, basically driving Rhea Wickham's backup car, so this should be interesting to watch Peter Jensen in that 20 car. Then we've got the 62 of Vinnie Scholes alongside the 13 of Damon Kirby, the 9 of Laurie Jackson alongside the 16 of Corbin Taps. Then it's the 52 of Ashley Blake and the 66 of Tyler Landry. And this is really where you're starting to get some of our surprise contenders that are starting in the back. Landry, one of the best road course racers, maybe the best road course racer in the league. So a bit surprising to see him all the way back in row 13. Then you've got the 79 of Kobe Hollenbeck, another one of our best road course racers, alongside his teammate Laken Herndon, the only 2 Columbia cars to make the race. Then it's the 41 of Karina Willis Calloway and the 5 of Takamoto Aya. Row 16, there you find Tim Berry with his 118-point lead. He starts at the back, but so do a lot of the drivers that are chasing him. So we'll see how that ends up turning out for Tim Berry. And alongside him is the 18 of Zach Dearman. All 3 Hudson Motorsports cars needed provisionals to get into this race. As you can see, the 81 of Jack Gino and the 19 of Jake Sidney back here in row 17. And rounding out the field today is the 77 car of JT Boyd. This will be a 32-lap race. This race was extended to that length last year, so we will have 2 pit stops here today, and that'll make the race very interesting strategy-wise. This is also one of the faster road courses that we go to as well, and since this is a road course, we will not have any cautions in this race, but we will have an incident cam at the end of the race where you'll get to see all the incidents if we have any.
Drivers, start your engines.
And the field will roll off here on the short chute at Watkins Glen. Rasha, who do you think's going to win the race today?
Well, Brennan, starting up front is always an advantage in these road course races, and with so many of our regular contenders bottled up in the back of the pack, I think this presents a pretty good opportunity for the 57 of Cheryl Simmons to maybe compete and potentially really take her excellent recent form up here and with a good shot of taking the win today. I'd be looking at that 57 car to be a top contender today.
That's Shauna Everett in the 57. Could this be the day where she finally gets that win? She and Darren Walker will lead them to the green flag, and we are underway here at Watkins Glen. coming out of turn 7 to complete lap number 1. Darren Walker is going to lead the first lap ahead of Shauna Everett. They're pretty much in the same order where they started, although Joanna Clark has moved up into 5th place. And we've got a side-by-side battle between teammates here, Michael Harvin and Adrian Wheeler. Pretty calm start to the race, although they are 3 wide going into the S's with Peter Jansen. But it looks like they are going to keep it clean here. You definitely don't want to go 3 wide through the S's. That could be, oh, the 39 of Laken Herndon just got into the guardrail right when I was going to say that area could be a trouble spot. Herndon's already seen trouble here on lap number 2.
Yeah, it looks like Herndon went at least side by side with somebody else there. We couldn't quite see who it was, given that the 39 was right at the back of the field, but already big damage to the left side of that car.
Yeah, that's already a bad start to the race for Laken Herndon by starting back there to begin with, and it's just gotten worse for him, so that's unfortunate for the 39 car. Not much action at the front going on immediately, but there is plenty of action going on in the midfield. Rasha, you pointed out the midfield will be very interesting to watch because we're going to have a mix of these faster cars in the back, or at least the better drivers that we're used to, trying to claw up through the field. As you see the McPickey Motorsports teammates side by side there, and they're going to have to try and pass some of the potentially slower cars, but who knows, maybe those slower cars won't actually be that much slower. We'll just have to see how they race here today. The 92 of Kate Summers and the 6 of Holly Martin battling for position. That is for a top 10 spot.
Yeah, when it comes to the midfield, I'd especially be looking at what'll happen after the first pit cycle once these teams start getting adjustments rolling through, as we see Jacob Lopez there make a move for 3rd as he passes the 15 of Sherman.
Yep, Sherman getting past there for the 3rd position. And Lopez, the all-time wins leader for the LCI Cup Series, up to P3 here today. Wheeler trying to pass another one of his teammates here, the 45 of James Harvin. As the top 5 are all single file in front of that, it looks like Wheeler will clear the 45 here. Oh, they're going to make contact and into the wall. Adrian Wheeler.
Oh, those teammates.
And that is not what you want to see if you're Motor Racing Ventures. Looks like the 39 is pitting in the back there, probably for damage after bouncing off the guardrail earlier. Thankfully, nobody else got involved in that, but that is...
a bit of a close shave for the 41 and 11 there. They were on the inside, and I thought they were going to get caught up by the spinning 40 car there.
How is he able to see out of his hood? James Harvin, he's still going. I don't imagine he's going to be out there for that much longer, but evidently he's taken lessons from Denny Hamlin, and he's still out there with the hood up.
Yeah, he's somehow holding his own here, but he's going to get past pretty quickly over these next few turns. It's going to be a bit of a bottleneck as we see the 33 trying to make a move to the inside.
Yeah, Wesley Shelton up to 14th. He started in 17th, so that's +3 since the start of the race. And the 57 is all over the back bumper of the 8, as she has been throughout this start of the race. And we'll see if the 57 will get an opportunity to try and pass this 8 car as the run goes on. She's got quite a bit of a run into turn 1 this time, but it doesn't look like she's going to peek underneath there. And the 50's trying to close in on both of them. They did not have the greatest turn 1, so maybe look for Jacob Lopez to try and make a move here soon.
Yeah, maybe they'll try to make a move through the bus stop. That seems to be where Lopez likes to make his moves. He did that to Sherman already.
Here he comes off.
He's looking to make a move.
Yeah, he got a good draft off of turn 4 here, and once again through the bus stop, side by side, and he's going to make another pass. So that'll move him up to 2nd. That's exactly what he did to Sherman the previous lap. So, yeah, that'll move Jacob Lopez up to P2. Everett
50 is really strong. Yeah, 50 is really strong on the exit of the bus stop, and that's really helping him make moves on these cars.
Well, we saw him pass for 3rd, then we saw him pass for 2nd. Maybe we might see him pass for 1st here soon. He's going to try and track down Darren Walker, but Walker's not going to be an easy driver to pass here. Thought I saw skid marks in turn 7. That might have been from the Wheeler, and oh, he's got more damage.
Ooh, 40's got even more damage, as I've taken the hood off of the 45, logically.
Yeah, he's leaving the pit lane. He's still going to be in the race, but obviously a lap down and probably off the pace as well. So
he's gonna filter out almost exactly where he was before stopping. So that's just extra annoyance for these cars in the upper midfield here,
Oh my
who've
God,
had to deal with him twice.
the 20 looks like he's trying to turn the 45 right there. He was making contact with the rear bumper, but Peter Jansen's still having trouble. This 45 is clearly not as fast as the cars behind him, but the cars behind him are having trouble getting past. So this might make things even more chaotic in the midfield than they already were. Here's Corbin Taps and Tyler Landry. Landry's in 21st, Taps is 19th, so they've both gained a few spots since the start of the race, but could be doing better on that front. Although it is, it is one of the easier road courses to pass, but that is just relative to other road courses. So, really don't want to bottle up here in turn number 7. 65 got sideways there, but the 20 and 24 are going to get past the 45. But that's going to cause some chaos there in the midfield.
Yeah, we've seen what happens when you get the exit of turn 7 wrong already.
And for the race lead, that's all you got to do. All you got to do is point the camera away from it, and then you miss the pass for the lead. But it looks like Jacob Lopez was able to pass the 8 off of turn 1 and got him into turn 2. So we got a new race leader here, and it's the 50 of Jacob Lopez looking to get his second road course win of the year.
Yeah, this 50 car is showing really good pace early on here. Looks like they've got the setup right on this car at least.
Yeah, the Motor Racing Ventures cars that aren't wrecked are doing a pretty good job. Michael Harvin's up to 6th, so if it wasn't for that tangle between the 40 and the 45, they'd be in a pretty good spot right now. Rhea Wickham's still in the top 10. Johnny Everhart has climbed up to 11th, and we saw him lead a bunch of laps at COTA, so we know that he's a very good road course driver. So I'm not too surprised to see him running up here. This is still a good run, though. This 36 car has struggled as of late. Struggled making races, but put Everhart on a road course and things will turn around for you, as it looks like Kate Summers just made a pass for 7th on the 3 car. So definitely some passes being made here on the just inside the top 10. And we just saw what happened for the lead, and the front 3 are all single file trying to break away from the 15 of Montana Sherman, and it looks like the 58 wants to pass him here in the bus stop, but she didn't quite have the right line going in there, and she'll stay behind.
Yeah, Clark was looking around there, but wasn't able to get side by side with Sherman. Might have to wait an extra lap to make that move.
Or maybe wait until turn 6 here. This could be another good opportunity for her. But it doesn't look like... Again, she peeked the nose underneath. But again, just didn't have the momentum there. And it's not particularly easy for the leader to run away here either. Generally, there are 2 or 3 cars that are in pursuit. Here she comes down the front stretch.
Might see 2 passes as Everett looks to the inside of the 8 for 2nd place.
Yeah, battle for 2nd and a battle for 4th. We're going to see them both as they go into turn 3. It looks like Clark's able to pass for 4th. Everett's still trying to fight Walker here in the S's. Good turn 3 for the 8, but Everett's going to have the preferred line coming out of turn 4, but they're in a deadlock right now. One of them's going to have to give going into the bus stop.
It'll be all down to exiting the bus stop with as much speed as possible. We'll see if the 57 can do the same thing the 50 did. Not quite. And that's going to put her at risk from the 58.
58 went a little wide there in the corner. That could help her on corner exit, but it definitely didn't help her in the middle of the corner. So it looks like she's not going to get past the 57. And that battle, I was just saying it's not that easy to pull away, but that did help the 50 pull away a little bit. So Jacob Lopez probably going to have about a second, maybe a little under his 2nd gap over the 8 car as we complete lap number 9 of 32.
Yeah, that's bottled up everyone from 2nd down to 12th onwards. This is a big pack of cars kind of running all over each other here.
Sherman and Harvin side by side. Sherman tried to pass the 58 of Joanna Clark, but now he might be in danger of losing his top 5 spot as he tries to fend off the 55 of Harvin. And I see skid marks in the S's. I wonder
the 5 has lost a bit of time.
Takamoto Aya is pretty far off the pack, so I wonder if that was her that went spinning in the S's. So
Yeah. Doesn't
of
look like she
course,
has much damage though, but
we
definitely a
will
big setback.
we will show the replay at the end. So by then we will know what happened. But regardless of what it was, Takamoto Aya finds herself pretty far back of the pack. She already wasn't having that great of a race, but that's made it worse. And it looks like Harvin has cleared for fifth, so that'll put two of the Motor Racing Ventures cars, the two that aren't wrecked, in the top 5.
Yeah, but you can see how much that battle between the 50 and 55 cost them. Because second, third, and fourth have all kind of run away a little bit, leaving about a second gap to the rest of this pack.
And now Kate Summers is looking on Sherman. Sherman's been bleeding spots since the start, but he's kept that thing in the top 10 at the very least. So, you know, it's still not a bad run for him. There's still time for him to kind of make adjustments to the car and try and rebound here, as he's now being run down by his former ride, driven by George Bryan. And you're right, this top 12 is kind of broken away. And then you've got Wesley Shelton and Charlie McCarron kind of in their own little world here for 13th, and that's an impressive run for the 33 car. I mean, outrunning Charlie McCarron, one of our best drivers. So, you know, that's a unique thing about the road courses. You get to see teams like Double Eagle Racing go head-to-head with Walker Brothers Racing, and they have a real fighting chance at that too. So that's a very cool thing you get from these road course ringers that you really don't get to see anywhere else.
Yeah, but I think you do have to realize that this kind of pack of cars from 13th on backward, they were the ones that were held up by the damaged 45 car when they had their accident.
He's still holding up drivers. 16 and 66 and the 65 have not found a way around him. Oh, and he's into the wall there a little bit. That might help them get by if they're close enough into turn 1. Landry might set up a pass here. He's in 18th. He's gained about 8 spots since the start of the race, which isn't fantastic, but he is on track if he can gain a few more spots to salvage something out of this. But meanwhile, further back in the pack, Tim Berry, Jake Sidney, and Zach Dearman have gone absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, these guys back here are not really making any moves forward.
8 and 57, nose to tail here. We might see Everett make a move on Darren Walker, and we are approaching the first pit cycle, so that is something to keep in mind. The earliest I've seen drivers come in and pit is about lap 13, but most of them should be pitting around lap 14. But we could definitely see some undercuts and overcuts on the first cycle, although we'll see a little more of that on the second one. Tire wear is not really that significant here. As I say that, there's about a second and a half of tire fall off, but there's less of it on Jacob Lopez. But it's not like most sport or anything where there's a ton of tire wear. But
yeah,
you can definitely play some tire strategy games under those cycles.
Yeah, Walker may have burned his tire wear up a little bit, just trying to hold on to the lead early on. That might be what we're seeing here, as the 50's not wearing out his tires as much.
Yeah, the 50's on cruise control right now. He's got almost a 2-second lead over the 8 and the 57. And I honestly, if I'm one of these cars behind him, I think my best strategy here is to maybe try and either undercut or overcut the 50. Just do the opposite of what he's doing and see if maybe you can gain some time on him.
I think if you're Walker, you have to come in early, like right now.
And that's what they're doing now. Lopez stays out. Everyone else behind him is going to pit.
Pretty much the entire... 15 is going to stay out. That's the first car to, besides the 50 to stay out. Otherwise, most of the top 13 have come in.
Are also staying out, but almost everyone else is coming in, so this will be very interesting. A few more cars in the back also trying to overcut here. But Jacob Lopez out there on his own. We'll see if maybe these drivers can gain some time on him by undercutting him. I feel like that will be an immediate advantage, at least in terms of track position. But once those fresher tires kick in for Lopez, maybe Lopez will be a bit faster, but he did have about a 2-second gap, so we'll see how much of that gap gets eaten into. That was a very fast stop by Darren Walker, and he's going to get out.
92.
Kate Summers, third out of this group. Joanna Clark behind, and then the 55. Uh-oh. Rhea Whitcomb has damage on the front end. And
Fair bit of damage on the front end, yeah. She gained quite a
that's-
few spots, though.
She gained spots in the pits, but I feel like, this is something we saw last year. If you have damage on your car and you come in for a pit stop, you're gonna lose quite a few seconds trying to fix that damage. So that could be bad news for Rhea Wickham if that damage doesn't slow her down immediately. That could
Yeah,
become
that's
a problem
definitely
on the
concern.
second pit stop. And here comes everybody else.
If we're going to take notes from last year's race, I think one of the things we have to worry about is just kind of warming the tires. I noticed that it took a few laps for those tires to warm up in last season's race, and I wonder if that's going to be something we'll be experiencing again here. So it might be important to warm your tires up quickly.
And that could also play into the advantage of the drivers that came in before the 50 car. Lopez leaving now. Everybody's taking 4 tires as expected.
You can see the 8 there cresting over the hill.
And he is well ahead of the 57 now, so that was a great pit stop for the 8 car, but the 50 will come out ahead of him. And Walker will still funnel into second. It's going to be a battle for third. That was a close moment between the 57 and the 3, but it looks like Everett will prevail there.
Yeah, those warmer tires will prevail. There it goes.
That and the 3 and the 15 and all those other cars that just pitted, they're going to be trying to go up to speed still, although this 55 is still kind of catching the 6 here.
Yeah, if you're Darren Walker right now, you're gonna be entering full sad mode, just try to eat at the gap as much as possible before Jacob Lopez can warm up his tires.
Yeah, and if that 8 car really is going to have that big of an advantage there on the tires, at least in the first part of the run, then this would be a great time to kind of just dig and try and catch him. It looks like he is catching him right here, but we'll see how far he can take it here as we are getting close to halfway in this race. This is lap 16, so we'll be past halfway next time by. But those two have kind of
Gap is
gapped
under
the
a
field.
second already.
Yeah, it's 0.7. It's about 3/4 of a second now. He's still gaining. Gap back to third there. Fourth, a gap back to fourth, and then a battle for fifth here between the 92, the 58, and the 15. All 3 of them still in the top 10, having good runs here today. This 2 car doesn't look that much slower. Not really any slower at all. She's kind of holding her own here against the 88 and the 36.
Maybe a little bit slower, but it doesn't seem to be too bad. Seems like most of the damage will be done in the pit stop.
The 8 car is right there. He is closing in. So this battle is going to start to get heated here in the next few laps, but the thing is, with Darren Walker, he's not going to have that advantage forever. At what point in the run does the advantage kind of shift back over to the 50? And in that case, when that does happen, I think the 8's going to make sure that by that point, he'll already be past the 50, so he'll just have to play defense. But at what point do you think the advantage is going to flip?
I mean, it'll probably take about 5 or so laps at most for that to flip. So if you're Darren Walker, I think you try to make a move as quickly as possible here, just to consolidate that lead before Lopez can fully warm up his tires.
Less than 0.2 of a second last time by. The 8's going to try and get a run out of the S's here. Then it's 3 seconds back to the 57.
Yeah,
not quite able to make a move
right now.
Yeah, not quite able to make a move through the bus stop yet. These 2 definitely have been the fastest cars of the race. At least of the drivers that have been up at the front. I'm going to check in the back real quick to see if any of our other drivers that kind of started near the back have made up much ground, and they really haven't. So yeah, I'd say those are the 2 fastest cars on the track. And Walker's he's kind of on a time limit here. I feel like at some point he's not going to be able to pass this 50 car, and then he's going to have to kind of rely on the second pit stop. So if he doesn't get past the 50, it's not over for him by any means, but I think it would be in his best interest to get past the 50 here.
Yeah, I think if you're Darren Walker and the 8 team, I think the damage control scenario is to just stay as close as possible to the 50 so you make an undercut feasible.
50 is gapping him in the S's, though. That's bad news for Darren Walker. I wonder
looks
if
like
maybe
the 50's tires are kicking in.
Yeah, maybe that tire advantage is starting to kick in for Jacob Lopez. But Walker's staying in his tire tracks, so this battle's still going on. That was a pretty good bus stop there for the 8. The 50 went a little wider in the carousel. And looks like he got a bit of a better exit.
Yeah, I think in terms of raw pace, the 50 was much quicker in the first run. I think the 8 has closed up that gap now. Plus Walker is now free from the threat of the 57. So it looks like it's just going to be down to these two at least until the second pit cycle.
Oh, he went wide in turn 7. There's an opportunity for Darren Walker to close right back in. Turn 7 is a trouble spot, as we've already seen. We've seen the 45 and 50 get together. But now the 8's right back on the bumper of the 50.
It's going to be important to capitalize on those kinds of mistakes because Watkins Glen is such a momentum-based track. If you go wide in any one corner, that might mess up your run for the next 2 or 3 turns.
Yeah, absolutely. And Walker, though, the exit of the S's has been very important in this race. I feel like that good setup into the bus stop. We've seen Jacob Lopez get good runs out of the S's and pass people in that first run. Darren Walker's trying to do the same thing here, and he's keeping pace with them, but he hasn't quite gotten the momentum that the 50's gotten, so... And I think by now the tires are probably pretty even on those two, so it's just kind of coming down to raw driver skill at this point.
Yeah, it's going to come down to just whichever driver can minimize mistakes and run the best set of consistent laps here.
Now the 8 run a little wide. 7. So he's going to lose a lot of time there. And the 50's going to open up that gap. George Bryant's been able to hold on to 4th. And it looks like the 2 cars in 10th right now. Jacob Lopez
really wide in the gap now.
Yeah, he went a little wide there, but he's still trying to pull away from that 8 car. That gap is continuing to open, so I feel like Darren Walker might have just lost his shot there. I think he's going to have to try and do something on this next set of pit stops. Now, undercutting definitely was the strategy there because he gained quite a bit on Jacob Lopez by doing that. Lopez had about a 2-second lead before the cycle, and now Darren Walker's pretty much right behind him. So I think if he does that again, even if the 50 comes down there with him, he'll have a chance to beat him off of the pit lane, especially since he's got that first pit box from starting on pole. So, you know, it's definitely not over for him, but I think his easy way
a bit wide there.
Well, maybe it's not over quite yet. That wasn't a good turn 7 for the 50. He's still staying with him.
But yeah, road course racing is almost always some form of track position gambling. So, yeah, if the 8 can undercut and get the lead off the bat after the pit cycle, then I think that'll put him in a much better position than he is right now.
He's closing in through the S's. He might have a second wind here. That's a great run off of turn 4. Here we go. He's going to look to the inside, down the back straightaway, setting up for the bus stop here. Will this be the pass for the lead side by side? Still side by side on an exit. And I think he ran over the curbs a little too much, but if he can stay inside in the carousel, then he might still be able to get to him, but it looks like Lopez will stay clear.
Lopez has just been that much better in the bus stop than everyone else, I think.
Yeah, he hasn't been passed there, but he's made a lot of passes there, so yeah, you kind of see that with the 50 car, but the 8's, you know, that was the first time where we've seen the 8 get alongside the 50. But I tell you where the 50 isn't very good. He's not very good through turn 7, so that's where the 8 is able to draw back into him.
7 through the S's, that's where the 50 is weakest.
Yeah, and that's definitely probably the 8's best chance to get past.
Yeah, I think if you're Darren Walker, you want to clear before the bus stop and to prevent the 50 from being able to, you know, counterattack a little bit and hold the lead.
Yeah, if I'm the 8, I'd probably try and plan my attack in turn 1 because he's been so good through the bus stop. Further back, it looked like the 6 car got past the 15, so there's another change of position there. But this battle for the lead is still not over yet as the 8 continues to trail the 50 car. This has been a pretty good battle between these two, even though there hasn't been any swap of position yet. It's been very interesting to kind of watch kind of the tactical moves here between the 8 and the 50. And Jacob Lopez's defensive driving, he's definitely had to work to keep the 8 away from him, and the 8's still not done pestering him.
Yeah, so you see the 50 run a little bit wide again there. Not as bad as we saw in the last few laps, but we'll see if the 8 can claw back that gap a little bit. And really good work by the 8 in the braking zone of 1 there. Definitely came a little bit closer there.
Uh-oh, that looks like new skid
more
marks there.
Yeah, more tire
Takamoto
marks.
Aya.
Ooh, the 5 is big damage to the front end of that car. 41 coming in as well. That might be another car involved in that.
Jake Sidney has damage.
Oh yeah, big left side damages to that car as well.
And of course, we'll see what happened there on the replay, but Takamoto Aya's day has gone from bad to worse, but this is heating up now. The 8's all over the back of the 50.
They might catch the 5 here, because I think the 5's limping down the backstretch here. Yeah, there she is.
Yeah, they got to be careful here to not run into her, but I think she's going to be able to get into the pits just fine.
Now, here we go. Yep, she's coming in now. Just gotta get out of the way.
Here. Oh, the 50
Oh, never
ran
mind.
into her. The 8 slowed down. He's involved in it. The 2 leaders have collided.
Oh, watch out. This is going to be a parking lot.
The 8's gonna scamper away. The 57 runs into it. The 3 runs into it.
The 3 does so
Who's
as
gonna
well.
get through?
Watch out. Oh, wow, that was close. It's like the 92 and 58 got through without any damage.
I think after the 3 got involved, everyone else was able to get around, but I don't know what on earth Jacob Lopez was doing there. It looked like he was going to be able to get by without incident, and then he just ran into the back of the 5 car.
That was an incredibly careless move by the 50 there. You don't want to do that kind of thing when you're leading. I know he was under quite a bit of pressure, but that was a terrible lapse of judgment by Jacob Lopez.
Now, this 50 car is going to have to pit. I mean, he's got the hood up just like his teammate did on lap 4, so again, I don't know how he's able to see out of it, but that is a ridiculous way for Jacob Lopez's run to end there. He was doing a great job. And now Darren Walker has a massive lead, but he's got some left side damage, so it doesn't look like too much. He doesn't seem like he's much slower, but we will have to keep an eye on that for the last pit stop. It looks like Summers is going to move into effectively second here. Joanna Clark and Holly Martin are fighting for third, and there goes the 50 into the pits.
Yeah, days seemingly gone even worse for MRV now with just 1 competitive car left in the running.
Trying to find the other cars involved. The 3 car,
there they are.
Heavy damage, and Shauna Everett's going to be done. So that's another chance for a win there that Everett had, albeit it was pretty slim at that point, but you know, that's a tough end of the day for Shauna Everett, and we'll see if the 3 will be able to continue after that. Definitely not competitively, but that is...
Walker's got a 6.5 second gap. That might be enough if they get the repairs done quickly, but we'll just have to see. We don't really know.
Yeah, that's not much damage. If nothing else, if they do choose to repair that, that'll bring the 92, 58, and 6 closer. And actually, the 58 is up to second now. Joanna Clark having a great run in the Diamond Motorsports machine. I mean, there's a lot of drivers up here having great runs.
Summers looking to the inside there.
Yeah, Summers looked to the inside of the 6. Nothing happened there in terms of a position change, and here we go.
Ooh, 8's coming in as well.
I didn't realize it was so close to the second cycle. It looks like the 92 is going to overcut, but everyone else comes in. But we're going to watch the 8 car here, and we'll see if they have to try and fix the damage on that car.
Yeah, crucially, Darren Walker's not going to have the advantage of the undercut this time because everyone else came in with him. So if he does lose time here, it's going to be pretty much baked in.
Yeah, everyone but the 92. But again, he has a 6... He had a 6-second lead, so I think he'll be fine as long as they don't have to fix that damage, so...
Yeah.
We'll see. Are they going to take
taking a long time on the left side, though. They're still doing it. They're still on it. Oh, everyone's taking 2 tires. That's going to be even worse.
The damage. Joanna Clark is going to get out in front from this group, and she's got a big gap over the 6 car, but we'll have to watch the 92 to see which one ends up getting out ahead. The 8 is finally out. They did repair the damage on the left side, and that is going to take him out of the running for the win. That is unbelievable.
Watch the 92 now. Pretty much the only car at the front who chose to take the overcut here. We'll see if this pays off.
And she was right with the 6 and the 58, so we'll have to see if this ends up working out in her favor. She will have fresher tires, but honestly, I don't like this call this late in the race because those fresher tires aren't going to kick in until later in the run, and we only have a few laps to go. So
yeah, we only have about half a run left to go. So I don't know if the overcut really be effective.
Yeah, we saw how the 8 closed in on the 50 that last run. 92 leaving the pits now. Where is the 58 car of Joanna Clark? There she is over the hill now.
Looks like Tim Berry also took the overcut there.
58 going through turn 1. There's the 92. It's going to be a lot closer this time. The 92 is going to come out ahead initially, but we'll see if the 58 has enough momentum to get past her. But it looks like Kate Summers.
Good work by the 92 team. Good work by the 92 team to keep her up front, but she's gonna have to defend for her life here because the 58 is gonna be hungry for that win.
Both these drivers are going to be hungry for a win. They've had a terrible season. This 58 car, I mean, Diamond Motorsports has had a miserable season this year. Their struggles have been well documented. They've basically had to restart their whole program with 2 rookie drivers, and the 58 is all over the back bumper of Kate Summers. Coming out of the carousel, the 92's tires have not warmed up yet, so this is, again, like we saw in the first run, the 58's going to have an opportunity, and here she comes, side by side, through turns 6 and 7. Summers will have the preferred lane into 7, but the 58's going to clear. Joanna Clark to the lead, late in the race at Watkins Glen.
This is high drama, 2 teams both with pretty horrendous seasons so far coming into this race, both with a chance of a win.
Don't count out Holly Martin either in the 6 car. She's within a second. However, the 19 of Jake Sidney's 1 lap down, and he's right in front of her, so he could play a factor in this battle as well. I believe the 19 got into an incident earlier in the race, and they've repaired the damage on that, but it's going to be at least a 3-car battle here. We'll see if the 55 and 15 get roped into it, but for now, it's 3 cars. But Joanna Clark is leading them all. What an upset this would be. What an upset this would be for Kate Summers as well. I mean, I don't think anybody in this top 3 is in the top 15 in points. Actually, now that I'm looking at the lineup, I don't think anyone in the top 8 is in the top 15 in points.
Yeah, this is an unbelievable race so far.
58 is putting a gap on the 92 right now.
Yeah,
but
the 92's tires aren't
warmed
warmed up yet.
George Bryan, I'm not sure how off the pace he is, but he might interfere with this battle with the 58 as well. The 19 of Jake Sidney is trying to get around the 92 of Kate Summers here going into turn 1. But it looks like he's going to back off.
Summers has to keep Sidney behind. I don't think she'll have a shot at the win if she lets Sidney go through.
Yeah, I think the 19 pitted at the same time as the 92, or at least pretty close to it. I remember seeing him on the pit lane, but...
Yeah, they came out on the same lap, effectively.
Oh, they're closing on the 3. The 3 is very slow. He's going to hold up the
really
58. This is going to bring Kate Summers back into it. This will bring Holly Martin back into it. Here comes the 92. She's going to dive it into the bus stop, but she didn't have enough.
The 3's going to split this pack.
She didn't have the distance. She wasn't close enough to make that work. And now the 3 is holding up the 19 and the 6. That's bad news for Holly Martin. She needs to get past as soon as possible. This 3 car is very slow.
Yeah, but now Summers with slightly warmer tires is going to be able to attack Clark for the win here.
She's right on the bumper. This is going to be an intense battle between these 2. I don't think Holly Martin or Michael Harvin are going to be able to close in because of that 3 car holding them up. Good turn 7 for the 92. Joanna Clark's going to have to fight for her life here over the course of these last 4 laps.
92's thinking about it, but not quite good enough on the exit, I think. No, yeah.
They've gotten by the 3 car. 55 actually was able to make the pass for 3rd. So we'll see. I'm not sure. I don't know if there's enough distance for the 55 to get there, but we'll have to keep an eye on him. We can't quite count him out yet. But they're 2 seconds back, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But right now, it's between the 58 and the 92. Not a good bus stop for the 92 there. That's going to allow the 58 to gap her just a little bit.
But I think with a gap of 2 seconds and the 19 in the way, it's going to take contact between the 58 and 92 to reel in those other cars back for the battle.
I mean, we've already seen some crazy stuff happen to the leaders. I mean, that was 3 of the 4 top 4 in the running order that were involved in that accident there a few laps ago, and then Darren Walker had to pit for damage because of it as well. So we can't count that out. This has been a crazy race so far. We can't count out anything for these two, but Joanna Clark and Kate Summers looking pretty good right now, and Clark is pulling away from the 92. They're battling for third again. That's going to hurt them even more in their chances of trying to catch up. There's only 2 laps to go. I don't know. I think the 58 and the 92 are going to have it made here. It's going to be between those two, and the 58 looks like she's pulling away.
Yeah, it looks like it's pretty much going to be down to these two, and right now I'd put my eyes on Joanna Clark just because of that track position advantage. I'd rather be defending right now.
Joanna Clark started her career with TRD Racing in the 5 car. Got a couple of poles for them, but not really that many spectacular results. Came in as a last-minute replacement for Diamond Motorsports this season. And she's kind of been outrunning that equipment. She's 25th in points, but I mean, that's pretty good considering how bad these Diamond Motorsports cars have been, especially when you compare her to her teammate. So this is going to be an outstanding win if she can hold on to it. But the 92 is closing back in. She might have one last move for the 58 as they're going to take the white flag. 1 lap to go for Joanna Clark to pull off an amazing upset here in the LSCI.
Yeah, Summers is going to have to give everything here to get a shot at this win. Looks like Clark is getting a little bit more comfortable, and she's just has enough of a gap to keep things steady, I think.
She's been great under the pressure here so far from the 92. She's able to pull out a bit more of a gap through the S's. She's been very strong through that part of the racetrack. Down the backstretch one final time, the 92 is going to have to close in tremendously if she wants to try and catch back up to the 58. She's closed in a little bit through the bus stop, but I don't know if it's enough. She's going to have to get a good run out of the carousel. But the 58 is poised and collected. Summers still trying to close in. It's going to come down to the final 2 corners.
Yeah, Summers isn't close enough.
Going
take an
through
almighty
turn
dive
7.
bomb.
Summers is not going to have enough time to get to her. She dives it in one last time, but she doesn't have the momentum. What an upset it's going to be. Joanna Clark, first career win in the LSCI here at Watkins Glen. An astounding upset for Diamond Motorsports. Oh my goodness.
What a performance by the rookie. That was a perfect race from start to finish. It definitely took a little bit of luck, as we saw with the entire top 4 being taken out of the running order, but yeah, an excellent race by the 58 there to take the win.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought it would be these two? I mean, I know Joanna Clark was running top 5, qualified up in 6th in this race. Kate Summers, I think, qualified outside the top 10 and climbed her way up, but even still, like, I don't think anyone expected either of these 2 drivers to win today.
Yeah, you don't usually see drivers starting outside the first 2 rows really taking the win on a road course. So to see the top 2 finishers come from 6th and 13th on the grid, that's a pretty astounding result.
Not even just that, but like, again, these 2 have struggled all season to really put together anything like this. And how about this entire top 8 is absolutely absurd. Montana Sherman got a top 5. Johnny Everhart,
look at the 2 behind, yeah.
The 2 car with damage still managed to finish in 8th.
I think
Leslie
is that the
Shelton
11th?
got a top 10.
I think Tim Berry managed to get 11th place after all of that.
He did. You just can't put him down. You can't keep him down. That's how Tim Berry has been. That's how Tim Berry has been killing everybody this year. Although
you mentioned that 30.
The 16 did finish ahead of him, so the gap is going to close, but not by very much.
Yeah, you mentioned that 33 team. That Double Eagle racing car is, I mean, that was an amazing performance by the 33 of Wesley Shelton to drag that car to a 7th place finish. He ran about top 10 all day too, so that's definitely a performance on merit by Shelton there.
Well, we're gonna look over your incidents here in this race, the crash cam, if you will, and then we'll have your post race show coming up right afterwards. Our first incident of the race happening at the end of lap number 3. Adrian Wheeler going through turn number 7 here. He's gonna go a little bit wide, try to keep it off the wall, but the 45 hooks him there hard into the inside wall for Wheeler. And that's going to be an early end to the day of both Adrian Wheeler and James Harvin, or at least the end of their competitiveness. Wheeler ended up being out of the race because of it, but Harvin was able to continue. But Motor Racing Ventures looked like they were off to a good start here today. But unfortunately, 2 of their cars got together right there, and that's definitely going to put a damper on things for Wheeler and Harvin. Wheeler hoping to have a good day today. He's one of the better road course drivers, but just unfortunate there. 2 cars crossing paths, and it hurts even more when it's a teammate getting into you also.
Yeah, you can see here Wheeler just gets a little bit wide, and then you can see I think the 45 just kind of hooks him a little bit, maybe not expecting the 40 to run up that high and try to correct his line immediately like that, and that's just a real unfortunate collision between 2 teammates there. Good bit of a close shave there for the 41 and 11 of Willis Calloway and Barry as well. But yeah, pretty unfortunate crash between those 2 cars, especially because they were looking like at least contenders for a top 5 today, at least.
And we found where Adrian Wheeler got the rest of his damage from. Lakin Herndon just runs into the back of him as he's trying to pit. It looked a lot like what ended up taking out Jacob Lopez later in the race. And then Adrian Wheeler runs into the barrier as well. Just carried out too much speed trying to enter the pits. Thankfully, he wasn't going fast enough to where that impact would hurt him too bad. But even still, that's what's actually going to take him out. It wasn't the initial incident. Maybe he would have been able to keep going afterwards. But yeah, things just went from bad to worse for Wheeler, and it's going to be a short day for Adrian Wheeler. And Herndon's day also, he had damage from getting into the S's guardrail, I believe on lap 2, and that's going to put him even further back.
Yeah, this pit lane entry can be a little bit sketchy at times, and that's kind of what happened to the 39 there. Maybe not quite looking the right way, and, well, the 40 there may have suffered a bit of damage to the steering, but could have slowed down a little bit more as well, and that's going to cap off a pretty miserable run of a few laps for Adrian Wheeler. That'll certainly be the end of his day, and that's also going to be salt in the wound for the 39 of Lakin Herndon, who's had all sorts of incidents to start the race.
This next incident happened on lap number 9. Kobe Hollenbeck gets into the back of Takamoto Aya in turn number 2, and Aya goes for a spin there. And the 41 of Karina Willis Calloway is also going to get into her a little bit. Send her spinning a little more. Thankfully, though, considering where she spun out, that's a very treacherous part of the racetrack. All she got there was a light tap to the guardrail as she was spinning it back around. So no damage on the 5 car. However, it is going to put her... it did put her pretty far behind in the race.
Yeah, there's usually not a lot of room in the SS, so the last thing you want to see is a car going the wrong way like that, and, well, the 5 of Takamoto Aya just kind of spun around in front of the pack there. Thankfully, nobody else was got into her with any real speed. 41 just kind of gave her a bit of a luff tap, just kind of spun around. That made her do a full 360, but yeah, incredibly lucky for everyone to get out without any real significant damage, but that'll definitely put the 5 on a back foot for the rest of the race.
This is what happened to Jake Sidney to put him behind the 8 ball. He gets into the side of the already wounded James Harvin. They go for a spin in turn 2, much like what happened to Takamoto Aya earlier, although this time there's a couple of drivers in the way. And speaking of Aya, I don't know if she ran over some debris when she was trying to miss the wreck or if she just couldn't see through the smoke, but she ran into the back of the 45. That's the second incident that she had in the S's. Unfortunately, did not get away scot-free this time. But Aya is going to become pretty important here later on in the lap as she's limping back around to pit road. And here it is. We all saw what happened between Takamoto Aya and the 50 of Lopez, and I don't understand what Jacob Lopez was thinking there. He was clear of the 5 if he just stayed to the outside, but he just cut down right in front of her. Collects Darren Walker in it. Shauna Everett's going to get collected in it as well. She's going to run into the back of the 5 car. George Bryan, trying to make evasive action, also runs into the 5 car. Very lucky that more cars were not involved in that. But of course, that ended up being the turning point of the race, involving all 4 of the leaders there. And that's eventually what opened up the door for Kate Summers, Joanna Clark, and Holly Martin to really get involved in this lead battle. The 8 gets away from it here, but as we saw in the race, that damage ended up having to be repaired, and he fell back to around 15th. So, yeah, that was definitely the craziest accident of the race. There was nothing Aya could have done there. That was just really a lapse in judgment from Jacob Lopez trying to go through turn 7. Again, what happened to Laken Herndon and Adrian Wheeler after Wheeler got into his incident. But that one took out quite a few more cars and also ended the days of Shauna Everett and George Bryan. So, yeah, that was a pretty significant accident there and really an avoidable one, too. And that's really what kind of kicked off the chaos in the last few laps here. But I believe that was the last accident of the race. So it was a significant one, that's for sure.
Yeah, right here you can see the 50 just kind of minding his own business, but right here he must have just really misjudged when when they were going to catch the 5, and then from there on it just kind of goes down from here. The 50 and 5 are completely stopped on track, and that causes a pretty decent stack up there, taking the 57 and 3 out with them. But yeah, incredibly lucky that nobody else clipped the 5 before she teleported back, or else that would have been an even bigger accident. But as the state of it, only 4 or so cars were involved in that. I think 4 or 5 cars were involved in that. So, but really unfortunate for Jacob Lopez there. Just really misjudged that last corner, and that's going to be the end of his race, I think.
Well, you just saw the end of the Carnage Cam in what was a very chaotic race here at Watkins Glen. Very unpredictable race. It was a pretty typical race until about the very end there, right when that incident with Jacob Lopez and Takamoto Aya happened. That's when the race went off the rails, and I think it's very fitting that we had a very chaotic winner here today as well. This is the first real upset, I think, of the season. I mean, I guess Holly Martin at Rockingham might have been a bit of an upset, but she's still in a McPickey Motorsports car. Joanna Clark and Diamond Motorsports, I mean, what can I say? I mean, they've been overachieving this season already. I mean, they got a top 5 last week at Denver, but I don't think anyone imagined that they'd win a race here today. And that's got to be a huge deal for Joanna Clark and that whole entire race team. So that's a great drive there. Kate Summers finishes in second, Holly Martin third, Michael Harvin, and like I pointed out on the cooldown lap, Montana Sherman, Johnny Everhart, Wesley Shelton, and Rhea Wickham all get top 10s. That's great for both them and their race teams. Well, Rasha, what are your thoughts on that race, if you can comprehend them? And maybe we can get a preview for Milwaukee, which is actually going to be later in the week, where we're hosting 2 races this week. But yeah, what did you think of that race?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned today was a day for the underdogs, and it's rightly so. From the top 5, only one of those drivers are in the top 20 in points this year. So it was definitely one where once the chaos kind of occurred, it really opened up the gates for everyone to try to take a good result in there. So basically, out of that entire top 8, you can see pretty much underdog results all around. You see the road course ringers, of course, the 36 and 33 doing a really good job with their equipment. And yeah, Rhea Whitcomb pulled off a really good race. Finished in the top 10, ran about there all day. The damage that she got in the first and the first pit cycle didn't really hurt her too much. So, really good day for the Martin Swain race team there.
And it's very interesting that that damage didn't affect the 2, but the damage from the 8 did affect his pit stop. He ended up finishing in 15th after all of that. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say. It was just a very interesting race for sure. Watkins Glen seems to have a little bit of chaos here when LSCI comes here. And like I mentioned, next race is going to be at Milwaukee. Rasha, what are you expecting from that race?
Well, since considering Milwaukee's a flat mile oval track, I would expect that track position it'll be a track position race for most of the way, which is kind of similar to the things that we saw here at Watkins Glen, but that's pretty much the only similarity I think between Watkins Glen and the Milwaukee Mile. So once LSCI heads back to oval racing there, I think you'll expect definitely a different kind of show, but it'll be important to see qualifying results are going to be really important, and just maintaining track position is going to be a crucial part of having success at that race as well.
Yeah, and that race was pretty crazy last year. Didn't have that many lead changes, but there was a lot of action in that race, and I'm expecting more of the same here this year. That's going to be an exciting one. Well, that's going to do it for today's broadcast. One more congratulations, big congratulations to Joanna Clark and Diamond Motorsports. They've got to be absolutely thrilled right now. And it's not like the win. She did need some shenanigans to get to first, but she was a top 5 car all day long. So I think she definitely deserved the win. But that's going to do it for today's broadcast here at the Watkins Glen International. And on behalf of Rasha Mahendra, this is Brennan Wilmington from the Left Turn Network signing out. Here are your point standings after race 17 of 28, which will be on your screen right now.